whether it was prosecuted or not, we have evidence that okay.
Now, we have seen everything on this channel, but this might be the first time that we have seen someone get sick during their parole revocation hearing. And we're about to watch several Louisiana parole revocation hearings that have one thing in common, and that is a crash out. So with that, let's jump in.
So would you please sit back in your chair because we can't see you very well. I'm sure we'll be able to hear you. Stand up. That's better. Just stand right there. Right there. Sir, this is the Louisiana Committee on Parole. On my left is Mr. Tillis. To my right is Ms. Stapleton. I'm Ms. Mandoo. We're at the Jefferson Davis Correctional Center. And I'd like for you to introduce yourself with your name and your DOC number.
My name is Cameron Stoops, DOC 624040.
Okay. Mr. Stoops, you're before this panel today because of allegations that you have violated your parole. Do you have a parole revocation questionnaire that you've signed? Do you have a copy of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you see your name. You sign. That indicates that you are not eligible for appointed counsel. Did you hire an attorney for today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Stoops, I'm going to read some allegations into the record, and you're going to, it's only one, and you're going to give me a plea of guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You engaged in criminal activity of domestic abuse battery, which resulted in your arrest on 5/30/2025. On 8/4/2025, the charges were dismissed by the district attorney's office due to the victim signing an affidavit of non-prosecution. How do you plead?
Guilty with a statement.
Okay. You can make that statement now if you'd like.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know if she had joined, but my fiance was supposed to join on the Zoom with me.
Yes.
And
We'll talk to her in just a minute.
yes, ma'am. And I didn't push her. She was trying to walk away from me, and I was running up to her to try to catch up with her, and I was trying to grab her. But I'm gonna be honest. I was using drugs, and I've been up too long. So when I tried to catch her, my judgment was wrong, and I guess I bumped her too hard, and she fell to the ground.
That's consistent with what you said in the preliminary. Ms. Laura Harris is joining us via Zoom. At this time, would you like to make a statement, Ms. Harris?
Her phone is unavailable.
Okay, it appears that she's not on and her phone is unavailable at the moment. Mr. Stoops, there was a witness that saw what happened, and there was video footage of what happened. So you were on drugs, and did you talk to your probation and parole officer about assisting you with getting some treatment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you attended the Steve Hoyle Intensive Substance Abuse Program?
Yes, ma'am. Last time I was incarcerated.
You are a 5th felony offender. So you know the rules. You've already had one sanction while you have been incarcerated this time, on parole this time. And it looks like you've had 3 failed probations in the past. Have you ever successfully completed a period of supervision?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Laura has not joined us? Okay. So do either of my colleagues have any questions?
I have no questions.
I was just gonna say that, the video shows, and also there was a witness verbally saw, he was present at the time, that you ran behind her full speed and pushed her down. So there's a video showing that. And then there was a witness that yelled from across the street and told you to stop because he witnessed it. So your statement of it was just an accident and stuff is not true as far as a video goes and eyewitness testimony.
Mr. Stutes, my vote today is going to be to revoke you. You know, I feel for your situation, but when you're on probation, you can have no criminal behavior. Whether it was prosecuted or not, we have evidence that okay, so Ms. Stapleton, would you like to vote?
I vote to revoke also because of your criminal activity involving domestic battery. And I hope that you get into a DDoS program while you're in DOC because you definitely need it.
My vote also is to revoke for violation number 4.
That concludes our business at Jefferson
Oh, you
Davis.
gonna get me, man. I'm done. I don't need to talk to y'all no more. Y'all say
The look on Miss Ledoux's face says it all. It's she really, it's like she said. I feel compassion for you, but at the same time, it's he's doing it to himself, and I think he was sick. I think he's really going through it right there at that hearing. But so I guess he can be forgiven. I don't know how much time he's serving, what his original offense is. It's difficult when you have, somewhat common names in Louisiana, but we're about to watch another hearing that has another crash out, and they all have something in common, by the way, which is oftentimes it's just being involved in criminal activity. People forget in Louisiana, the parole rules are written very, very loosely and intentionally. So you can do anything. You don't need to get a felony. You don't need to even you just have to be involved in criminal activity. That's the language of the parole contract. And if you are involved in criminal activity, which means someone calling the police on you, even if you're 100% innocent, the parole board has the power to revoke you. And we're about to see a case where someone, well, he's being accused of a crime, but he has not been found guilty yet by a jury. He hasn't seen the jury yet. He hasn't gone to trial, but as we've seen in Louisiana, that's enough to get you revoked. But we're going to see this revocation hearing. So with that, and I want to give a shout out to our Annan for recommending these hearings. Thank you, Annan, for doing that. It's a huge help, as always.
Mr. White, I'm going to read the allegations against you, and you are going to answer with a plea of guilty, not guilty, or guilty with statement. So on condition number 2, indicates that you have not submitted any monthly supervision reports during this period of supervision. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Allegation 4, you committed the offense of aggravated as evidenced by your arrest, as well as a jury trial that will take place on December 1st, 2025.
Not guilty. I do have a jury trial coming up.
You do.
Yes, ma'am. I do have a jury trial coming up.
Number 10, you're currently $167 in arrears on supervision fees.
Not guilty.
And 13, as you had a special condition placed upon you that you were to attend 2 AA/NA meetings per week, and you have failed to provide verification of your attendance.
Not guilty.
Okay. So why are we here then? Tell me why you're not guilty to any of these.
Well, all of those stipulations, first of all, were during COVID. I've been incarcerated since 2021. The arrear, I think I lost my job before I was incarcerated, but I went back to my old job, my previous job, which is Blue Harbor Car Wash in Mandoo, and my parole officer was notified, my current parole officer, that I had started over working again. And at the time, first of all, I did make my payments. I made all of my payments. And according to that stipulation is saying that I didn't make any payments. And that's why my parole had not been violated. Most definitely.
It didn't say that you, wait, let me be clear, it didn't say that you didn't take any payments. It says on the payment part, it's $167 in arrears. I'm not concerned about that. But
Okay.
you did not file monthly reports. That's a different thing.
What's a monthly report as far as visiting my parole, having a visit with my parole officer?
Yes,
Yes.
and providing verification and all of the other
Okay,
details.
okay, I switched parole officers, first of all, ma'am. I left from under tangible holds jurisdiction and ended up under St. Tammany's jurisdiction. It was clarified when I eventually found out who my parole officer was in St. Tammany. And I think Mr. Millen let me know that I've had about 3 or 4 changes of parole officers since.
Yeah, but can I note you're a 4th class offender. This is not
Yes,
your
ma'am.
first time on supervision.
Yes,
And the
ma'am.
rules of supervision have not changed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the number of parole officers is immaterial. Because you know the rules, you signed them, you've been on supervision before.
No, I'm meaning since I've been incarcerated. I've been incarcerated since 2021. And
Yeah.
I think Mr. McMillan said that I've had about 4 parole officer changes that I didn't know about since I've been incarcerated. But my first one being James Swallow, which was upon my release. I made every visit with Mr. James Swallow under COVID conditions. They had all my contact information. I worked at Blue Harbor Car Wash up until the time that I left Blue Harbor, which was maybe around August of 2021, when I started back working. And I think, if I'm not correct, how much is $167 in arrear? How many months of non-payment? Is that like 2 months?
1 month.
One,
Now, if Mr. McMillan is with us today, so I'm going to ask him to make some statements regarding the supervision.
yes, ma'am.
All right. So unfortunately, there's not a lot I can provide. I've been supervising him since he's been incarcerated for the violation, so I don't have a lot to update, but I did attempt to contact the previous 2 agents. One works at our office, one is out of district. There were no narratives of the loss of employment, the contact reports are reporting in. There's just no evidence of there being an attempt in our records. It could be an officer error, but I don't have anything to back up either side, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We do have the police report of the current charges, pending charges. They have not been dismissed. They are going to court. It will be a jury trial. And so the evidence,
I have 1 charge.
that's right.
Yes, ma'am.
And that charge is aggravated.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have all of the information from the police report, and that provides me with enough evidence to make the decision that I need to make today.
Before you make your decision, may I say something, please?
You may.
First of all, my arrest was at my place of residence, which was shared with the homeowner, which is I never left Drive East. That was from the time I left Tangible Holds jurisdiction, that was my place of residence all the way up to my time of arrest. I made, far as every appointed visit that I know about with my parole officer, that was one time that I was on a photo shoot in Venice, Louisiana, that my parole officer called me and we did our visit over the phone. Every visit that me and my parole officer had was through was FaceTime. The reason they never came to my home, most definitely, is because I hadn't did anything that would render a violation. I had I saw psychiatrists every Thursday, which would be documented, and that was supposed to suffice for my AANA visits. It was Bill Olendike of Red River Counseling in Madisonville, Louisiana. I paid $125 per week for those visits. He's right by Chifunction Cafe, same street. And I saw him every Thursday, unless it was a Thursday that he was not able to visit with me. And that would cover me for as my AANA visits. But all of my documentation as far as my visits, I never missed a visit as far as I know about, most definitely. I held my job. If there was a non-payment, I was still making payments when they told me I didn't have to pay. I still made payments on my parole because my whole intention was to do my parole. I never did anything to violate my parole, except this arrest I know puts the parole hold on me. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Do my colleagues have any questions?
No,
Mr. Tillman?
Well, he's been incarcerated since 2021.
It's the jury trial for aggravated. December 1st.
He's asking to be released
Mhm.
until this trial.
And one more thing, my case most definitely will be determined in December. That's my jury trial date. That's after 6 months of no court appearances. And I've already talked to my lawyers, everything, and that's why I deferred from the beginning, first of all, because I knew that I hadn't did anything as far as I knew to violate my parole. I had never left my address. An officer never came to my address and was able to ever say that they couldn't find Arthur White or not be able to contact me. And everything will be over in December, as far as I know. That's why I deferred.
Okay. So I have the first vote. Mr. White,
Yes, ma'am.
based on the preponderance of evidence for your jury trial coming forward, my vote is going to be revoked. You have, there's plethora of information in my file regarding this crime, and my vote is to revoke based on that. Mr. Tillis?
My vote is also going to be to revoke due to the evidence that we have.
Ms. Stapleton?
my vote is gonna be revoked, based upon the evidence evident by your arrest.
You're actually finding me guilty of a crime that I've been charged with. That's what you're saying.
We have voted to revoke your parole based on the preponderance of evidence that a crime was committed. We don't have the same standard as a jury, okay? So that concludes your hearing, sir. It's 9:33.
Now, I think we all know there was no chance that he was not going to get revoked. When you have a pending for an aggravated SA, which is up to life in prison for that charge, there's just no chance. You know, we've seen in Louisiana, we just saw recently a hearing. This one I thought was amazing in terms of just setting law precedents. It was somebody who went to trial and was found unanimously by a 12-person jury as innocent. Yet the parole board said, whoa, we're not drinking the Kool-Aid of the jury. We actually don't care that you were found innocent. We're revoking you anyways. Here, let me play you a clip from that hearing.
What I'm trying to say is, if you take a DNA sample and to do DNA analysis, if it was my DNA, it'll say 100% match. It wouldn't be a mix-up, it could be my DNA. If you take a DNA of yourself right now, and they'll say, okay, it's your DNA. It wouldn't say it could be or it's possibility. Same way my lawyer explained it in trial. That's why I was proven not guilty by 12 12 jurors.
And it's crazy. I can't believe that a jury actually bought whatever his attorney was selling, who should win a Nobel Peace Prize or I don't know, an Academy Award, one in a quadrillion chance that it's not his DNA. But that's the craziest thing about juries. So I think it makes sense that the parole board revoked him. I'll leave a link in the description to that full hearing if you haven't seen it yet. But now we're going to go and watch another series revocation hearings, and it might be a little bit boring at the beginning, but I am highly recommending that you stick around until the end because something happens. So with that, let's jump in.
Hey, Mr. Santoro, you stated that you pled guilty to condition number 3 with living elsewhere besides your sister's address, and you wanted to make a statement. What statement you wanted to make?
Sir, I got released on October 30th of 2021. I was incarcerated for 7 years. Well, I was living when I went on 11/4 to see my parole officer, which was the day I went for the 48 hours to see my parole officer. Well, she wasn't in, so they scheduled me to come on 11/4, and that was the day that I seen her and did my fingerprints and everything. And I was living at my sister's residence. Me and her son's father had a little falling out, and the day of my home visit, the day that my parole officer was I called her to come do a home visit. I told her my address was gonna be my mom's address, which was the 15 days later. That's when I first initially seen my parole officer for my home visit. And I called her to let her know that I wasn't living at that residence anymore. And she came to my place of residence, which was my mom's house.
Okay, so she did go to your mom's house.
Yes, sir.
And after that, she had approved for you to live there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She came through. She looked, seen my room, made sure I had clothes there, made sure it was clean. It was a livable area, and she approved. She actually told me that it was all right, and she left from the house that day, and everything was good.
All right. Regards to condition number 4, were they drugs in the car when y'all got stopped?
Yes, sir. There was drugs in the car, but the little guy that the car actually that belonged to, he played out. The drugs were not my drugs. If you was to read my arrest warrant, when they detained us and put us in 2 separate cars, the little guy admitted to having a pipe in the car. Well, the same place that they found the pipe is where they found the drugs, and he ended up going to court. That's how I didn't have to take the possession of Schedule 2 charge, because he ended up taking his charge, saying that the drugs were for him, and I guess they sentenced him on it or whatever. I don't know how it went for him, but he admitted to the drugs being his in court, is why they dropped my charges.
What kind of drugs was it?
Methamphetamine, sir.
Okay. Have you used any drugs since you got out?
Oh, yes, sir, I have. Being honest, yes, I have.
So you have used drugs. Okay. How often have you used since you've been out?
I mean, I did. I guess a few times, sir. I don't want to lie to y'all. I'm not trying to come off as a liar, you know.
Yeah, I understand. That's a good thing. We want the truth. Do you consider yourself to have a drug problem?
Yes, sir. I've had a drug problem for a long time. Mr. Freeman, if you don't mind me saying, if just so happened, and I hope that, y'all find it in your heart to maybe, let me go. I just did 7 years,
I understand this. During that 7 years, did you take any long-term substance abuse?
No, sir, I haven't. I really haven't taken any drug rehabilitation at all. I've always when I have a run-in with the law, it's always years of my life that I go to prison for. Like right now, I haven't spun less than 2 years, 2 year sentence in prison since I was 14 years old. And I just recently, Mr. Freeman, I just recently acquired, if you would look, I don't know, paperwork was supposed to be faxed to y'all. I have it right here in my hand. It was a petition to change my name, because when I was born, my mom, okay, and I've never been able to get a driver's license or a state ID in my life. Well,
I read all that.
okay, when I was out
I'm
there,
saying that gives you problems.
right, but I have it now. I have it now.
Okay.
And you know, I have jobs waiting. One of my bosses should have.
Let's stick to the facts of the case.
Okay.
So, on your way to the police station, somehow you slip your cuffs to the front of your body.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then when you got there, you took off running.
It was just like a little. They say I ran. It was like a tussle, Mr. Freeman. You know, I was scared. I was going back to jail. You know, I mean, I hadn't stayed out there but 58 days. I got two 14-year-old little boys. And all I can think about is, man, I'm about to spend some more years of my life in prison, you know, and I had everything going on for me. I had this paperwork coming in where I was about to be able to go get a job. You know, I'm a welder, I'm a carpenter. I have jobs lined up right now. And all I could think about, Mr. Freeman, was I didn't want to go back to jail, you know, and I knew that the drugs in the car was not mine. And the little guy didn't want to take his charge. And I mean, yeah, I put up a little struggle, but I mean, it was just because I was scared. I didn't want to come spend more years of my life in prison when I'm just finally getting everything on track.
Did you try to hit or kick any of the officers?
No, sir, I did not. No, sir, I did not.
You were resisting going into the jail, which you telling me.
I'm trying to talk to him, and at the same time trying to talk to him, like, you know, kind of like just pushing back a little bit because I didn't want to go into the jail, Mr. Freeman. You know, I didn't want to be arrested or you know, go to jail for years of my life once again for something that I know was not mine, you know?
Okay. That's all the questions I have, Mr. Roche.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Ms. Jackson, do you have any questions?
No. Thank you.
Mr. Santoro?
Yes, sir.
A statement on your behalf?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
I can make a closing statement on your behalf.
Yes, sir, I can. Sir, I hope.
Mr. Santoro?
Okay.
Ms. Jackson has one question.
Yes, sir.
You say you've used since being released on parole. What was your drug of choice?
I smoke marijuana.
You know, Mr. let's come. Today's the day to be honest.
I mean, my drug. No, I have used, but you asked me what my drug of choice was.
What you said you've used a few times.
Yes, ma'am. I've used methamphetamines. I've drank a few beers. Drinking's not really my thing, and I smoke marijuana.
And you said you've never gone through any kind of substance abuse treatment.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I have talked to my.
Do you think you need substance abuse treatment?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
If we recommended that you be placed in a long-term substance abuse program, would you be willing to do that?
Yes, ma'am, I'm willing to do anything that I need to do to get back to my family, ma'am.
No, not to get back to your family, Mrs. Santorio, to deal with the fact that you're an addict.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, all right. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Santoro, you're ready for your statement now.
Sir, I am, sir and ma'am, I am, I'm sorry for coming back to jail. You know, I mean, yes, I do have a drug problem out there. I would take any treatment, or anything that I can do to better myself, because, I do have family out there that needs me. I was just getting back, I was just back close to my kids. I have two 14-year-old babies out there, and I spent years of my life in jail. And I hate that one bad decision by getting in a car with somebody that I did not know might send me back to prison for another 5 years of my life. And, I am sorry. And yeah, I do regret everything that happened, I don't want to have to do no more time in prison. So I really, that's all I got to say. I'm sorry for, I feel bad for coming back. I can't keep doing this to my family.
Thank you, Mr. Santoro. Is the panel ready to vote? Mr. Freeman.
Mr. Santoro, I think you've been very honest with us today, which I do appreciate. You answered our questions point blank. You didn't try to lie and make light of the problem. So my vote today is, in lieu of revocation, to send you to a substance abuse treatment program in the state. So you have to go over there and complete that program before you get released. It'll probably be Steve Hall is what I'm going to recommend.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Ms. Jackie?
Same thing, Mrs. Santorio, your revocation that you would complete a long-term DLC substance abuse program before release.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mrs. Santoro, you have received 2 votes. In lieu of revocation, you must complete a DLC long-term substance abuse program. When you get to the facility, they will determine whether it's going to be a 6-month or a 9-month program. When they see exactly what you need, you must complete that program. Once completing that program, you will be released. You have a good day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I know I promised you that something interesting would happen in this hearing, but as Dr. Grande says, if there's one thing for certain, it's that we would never see Mr. Santori again.
Mr. Santori, your case has been assigned to me, so I'll begin our interview process. You've pled guilty with a statement to count 1. On May the 22nd of 2023, you tested positive for drugs. You were still doing drugs. So give me your statement.
Yes, sir. I did it. I wanted to give a statement because it says I was in possession. I did on two occasions have 2 dirty drug screens. Well, I was also in the process of maybe trying, because I've never owned a state ID or a driver's license in my life. I'm 33 years old. I think the paperwork has been sent to y'all, or should have been emailed to y'all. And well, I was really trying to get myself maybe into a rehab until I got my ID or something like that. And I never did get a chance to do it, because right before I got arrested, Miss Artigo went on a leave. It might have been a training or something. I don't know exactly what it was, but we was in the process of doing those things. But by the time she came back from her leave, which was in July, that's how I didn't see her in July, because she was on a leave and I got arrested. So like, I was trying to get into a rehab, but I never did have a chance to do it, and I mean, that's really why I wanted to, I plead guilty with a statement, because I was dirty, I admitted to it, and we was in the process of going to a drug program until I obtained my driver's license or state ID, because I have jobs waiting on me. I just go straight back home to the streets every time. I never have
Let me ask you this. When did you parole out?
I paroled out on March 31st of this year.
All right. And you paroled out from what program were you in?
From Stephen Hall program.
The very best program that the Department of Corrections has to offer. You completed the entire program?
Yes, sir. I sure did.
You came back out and went back to using drugs?
Yes, sir. And
Didn't they give you recommendations? Didn't they tell you what to do? Didn't they tell you to go to AA meetings? Didn't they tell you to do all of those things?
Yes, sir. My biggest thing though, when every time I go home, I have jobs waiting on me. I'm a welder. I'm a carpenter by trade. I'm a welder by trade. I have a horticulture trade. I just cannot obtain a job. I'm just stuck out there because DOC knows who I am. But every time I go home, I am never able to get a state ID or a driver's license to be able to get a job. That's why my parole fees are not paid up. That's why I've never been able to prove that I had employment, is because I've never been given the opportunity to get a state ID or a driver's license. My paperwork should be there with y'all right now. It should have got faxed or emailed to you. I actually have the paperwork right now to be able to.
Let me ask you this. Why did you violate your curfew?
Well, sir,
What's that got to do with an ID card and not getting
no, I can't lie to you, sir. I was out after the curfew. It's, you know, my transportation thing is kind of hard. You know, I've never had a driver's license, never had an ID. I don't have any transportation. I come home to no job, you know, and then when I go, say I do go to a job, which was that was the case. I do a little roofing here and there, you know, and I mean, it's not a steady job, but I get, you know, it's like side jobs. And yes, I did get caught, and I have no excuse for that, for being out, but it's hard to get from one spot to another whenever you only have your mother's like transportation. My mom works 2-3 times a week. So if I go on a job and I'm on the way back home, you know, sometimes I get back a little later than possible. It's hard to keep work. And
Let me ask you a question.
yes, sir.
How much does it cost to go to an AA meeting?
I don't believe it costs anything, sir.
Right. And they got AA meetings everywhere. Why didn't you go to AA meetings as soon as you got out of prison after having gone through 6 or 9 months treatment at Steve Hall? Why didn't you go to all of your AA meetings?
I never was told that I had to report to AA meetings. I was just told that if I needed help, to talk to my parole officer. And that was the case. I did. That was the only person that I was in contact with.
It was never suggested to you by Steve Hoyle that you should follow up with AA meetings and support and things like that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If I was in trouble, they said that I could follow up and meet.
In trouble, you tested positive 3 months in a row.
Well, sir, it was 2 times, and I was in the process of getting treatment. Me and my parole officer, Miss Jennifer Artigo, was in the process of doing it. She went on a leave, and for like 2 weeks.
No, she'll tell us what happened.
Right, and she went on a leave for like 2 weeks, sir, and that was the case because we were in the process. I had to actually go through Miss Jennifer to get a medical card because I didn't have Medicaid or anything, you know, and I had just got my medical card. I had just got everything to go through with all of my stuff. See, what I was going to do is I was going to go to rehab and wait for my paperwork to come in so I'll be able to get my ID, which because I'm waiting on, I have jobs. I can go to work as soon as I get an ID. But that was the plan. I was going to go back to a rehab, you know, a 28-day rehab. I had an acceptance letter from a program in Lacassine that I was trying to get into.
Tell me about what happened on July the 8th of 2023 with the resisting the office. Tell me about that.
Well,
how that resulted in the fact that you didn't have an ID. How did that cause all of that problem?
Well, that not having an ID didn't cause that problem. I was on my way home, and I really did not know. I know I got the resistant officer. You know, it was more like nobody got hit. Nobody was hurt.
You riding? What were you driving?
I was on a motorcycle.
Whose motorcycle?
It was actually a friend's motorcycle. It was a form of transportation for me at that time. I was actually on a back road on my way home. I never crossed any traffic. I didn't even know that the cop was behind me until I got to Millers Lake Road. You know, I never did see him. He said his lights wasn't on, and the resistant officer came in. I mean, nobody was hit, nobody was hurt. Whenever I was trying to explain to him what was going on, the only thing I was trying to tell him is I did not have a driver's license and I didn't see him behind me, you know, and I mean, nobody was hurt. I kind of like tried to pull away from him one time, and that's how I got the resistant officer.
You were able to get transportation on that particular day, borrowed somebody's motorcycle. How come you didn't use that motorcycle or cars or a bus or walk to get an ID card or comply with any other conditions? Go to AA meetings. How come you didn't do any of that?
Well, because I'm gonna tell you, my ID card is way more complicated than what you're probably thinking right now. On my birth certificate, I had my mom's last name. When I was born, my birth certificate had my mom's last name. On my social security card.
Mr. Santoro, let me stop you just for a second. I'm gonna talk to you. Your girlfriend, she can say whatever she wants, and we're gonna hear from
Yes, sir.
whole officer. Let me just tell you something. For 14 years, I was a judge. I ran a drug court. And you sound just like everybody that ever came before me, with every excuse in the world. It's always this fault. It's my ID card. That's why I'm doing all these drugs. You know, I went to one of the best programs in the country. I come right back out and I start going back to using drugs. Because, you know, my parole officer was supposed to do all this help for me. I know damn well that's not true. I know what Steve Halls tells you to do when you get out of that program. I'm thoroughly familiar with that program, and you didn't do it. Now, what you got to say about that?
Sir, I didn't. You're right. I didn't follow up with AA meetings. I didn't know that I had to do that.
Okay.
I don't even know where they have.
I'll give you an opportunity to close in just a few moments. Let's hear from Ms. Granger. Is Ms. Edith Granger online?
Hello, you don't mind.
Ms. Granger, can you hear us? Are you Ms. Granger? You're on mute, ma'am.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. If you'll introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like us to know.
My name's Edith Granger. I'm Sebastian Santoro's girlfriend. I just want to tell y'all, I think he does need another chance as far as the ID thing goes. It is a lot more complicated. He doesn't have a birth certificate. He's never had one. If you go look in vital records from Louisiana, he was issued one.
Let me stop you, Ms. Granger. He is not charged with not having an ID.
No, I know that. I know that. I know that.
Continuing to use drugs, involved
I know
in
that.
activity, and not reporting when that's what he's charged with. So address that for us.
Okay. Well, before when he's came home, he's never really had nowhere to come home to. He does now. When he comes home, he will go to work. I have him a job until he can get an ID with my father-in-law.
How long have you?
Right, my stepfather.
How long have you and he been together?
We've been together for 6 months.
Okay. So y'all were together when he first got out?
No, sir.
No.
Okay. Okay. Got it. All right, okay. But y'all were together when he was using drugs?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
He has a family support system now. He wasn't using when he got arrested. He was trying to be clean. I'm trying to help him in every way that I can. I mean, he really didn't have a family and a support system to help him before. And I mean, that you know just as well as I do that that's a very big part of recovery for an addict.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. Ms. Artigo?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
All right. Whenever I accepted, I first began his supervision whenever he was released on his second chance from the parole board on March 31st. Whenever he completed the in lieu of revocation long-term treatment, that's when I first had supervision of him. He was assigned to a different agent before that. I know his most current violations that we're speaking about today might have started with substance abuse treatment that we were trying to address in inpatient. He did not have an ID. However, I did get an inpatient place to waive his ID with my stating he is who he was. and they did apply for Medicaid. His Medicaid came back. However, it had a flag. Instead of full Medicaid, they gave him partial. And the treatment facility, it was an inpatient, stated it would take a couple days to figure out what the partial was about and what all it would cover. Therefore, in that time, that's why I put him on a curfew, so he wouldn't have a chance to ruin the opportunity in front of him. And he intentionally neglected that curfew. And not only did his violations go from violations that majorly affected only him by the use of substance abuse. I know it affects family members, but it mainly affects the individual using. He decided on that day to now commit violations that could negatively affect innocent people. There might have not been anybody on their streets, but there could have been. His neglect for the road signs. At one point, he reached speeds of 84 miles per hour in a 55. He, according to the police report, turned around, directly looked at the officer, then accelerated, slowed down, accelerated, slowed down, and accelerated. He intentionally put the risk of innocent people at his fingertips. He didn't only not care about him, he made the decision not to care about anybody else. Whether it was due to being under the influence at that time or not, his violations at that point changed and made him a threat to public safety. After his bike was stopped, not only did he continue to put others at public safety, he did not listen to the officers. He was only able to be placed in handcuffs by the officers deploying a taser to gain control of him. His actions threaten law enforcement and the public. However, it might have began because substance abuse. However, all the branches that were reached out to him for him to obtain treatment and curb this drug abuse habit that he has, he didn't take full advantage of it. He didn't utilize all the tools and techniques that he received from Steve Hoyle. He did not abide by the recommendations of me of stay inside your house. There was an incident that wasn't listed. However, he was found him at his residence with another female on supervision. Drugs were found. She took the charge. It was the morning he was supposed to go do the evaluation for treatment. Instead of citing him for a misdemeanor possession of marijuana, which was in his pocket, me and the responding officer, we submitted a report to destroy the evidence because I didn't want to risk him being in a program and having an appointment or court. So with all these breaks he got, he still didn't respect the chance that everybody was giving him by staying in his residence. And now he's wanting us to overlook the charges. They might have gotten pled down. However, he intentionally disregarded. So at this time, my recommendation is revocation. However, I do request that y'all as the parole board recommend him to be referred to the Lafayette Parish Reentry Program for evaluation to attend there with, if he's accepted into the program, the focus while in the program is for him to obtain a birth certificate, a state ID identification card, them assisting with Medicaid and substance abuse education and treatment program. And then also after completing those, if there is time for him to attend a vocational certification program. He will be released one day and he needs to grow while he's in, but he also needs to have all the tools available to him so he doesn't even have a chance to have the excuses but this, but that, but this. So I think he needs the Department of Correction time, but also want the recommendation of the programs that he could be available for, which could set him up for success when released after his incarceration.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate your comments.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Santora, is there anything you'd like to say before the board votes?
Yes, sir. I know I've been given a chance. I'm so close to getting this birth certificate and this ID right now. I have a home to go home to. I have a job waiting on me. If I can get this birth certificate, which all I have to do is when I am released, I have to go to the school board. Is the only paperwork that I'm missing right now, and I have to mail that to Vital Records. The paperwork should have been emailed to you guys, and y'all should have been able to see it. Is proof that I am in process. I have a good home to go home to now. I'm not gonna be worrying about where I'm gonna lay my head now. I was using my mom's address. It's not ever been a good spot for me. I've never had this opportunity right here to be able to get my ID and my driver's license and go to work and stay out of the street, sir. But I have it now. If I have to go to, I have, like my girlfriend has a vehicle. We have a nice house. She's a nurse, you know, like I have the resources to get back and forth to AA meetings if I have to. Like, you know, I would like to be, like, if possible, you know, if God spares, like I would like to be given another opportunity. If I don't if I don't go to AA meetings, or if I don't attend classes you might recommend me to, then you can violate my parole. But like, 18 years of my life, I've been in prison. I've never went in front of the judge and been on probation. I went to Stephen Hall, you know, but I did not know that, you know, I didn't even know, sir, and I'm not trying to make an excuse, where an AA meeting would be located at. I've never had to go to that, you know, so I mean, like, if I'm given the opportunity and told, you know, where do I need to go, I will do whatever I have to do to handle it on my end, because I mean, I'm so close to getting this ID and I'll be able to go to work. I've never had a job before. Well, not a job that I can actually go cash a check or have a checking account. I've never had that. I don't know what it's like to pay a bill, but I have those opportunities now. I have a good woman at home. I have a good home to come home to. You know, my own address that is mine. It's not for my mom or her husband. I have an address that is mine, you know, and, you know, if God spares, just, you know, all I'm asking is please, you know, take it into consideration that I will go to AA, NA. I will go to meetings if I have to. I just didn't know that was an option. I didn't even know where to find meetings at. But I am in the process of getting my ID. I am working towards being a better person. I've never been given the opportunity to be able to do it. I cannot go to work. I have a 16-year-old son. I've never been to work, never had a job. You know, every time I go in front of the judge, I get years or better in prison. You know, the last 18 years of my life, I haven't been on the streets but 1 year. You know, and it's all because I go home to nowhere. I have an address, but I'm never going home to a place that I can actually call home. You know, I'm never comfortable anywhere I go because it's drugs everywhere. You know, I've been around that my whole life, but I'm actually like in a good position right now. I have a good woman. I have a home with an address, you know, a clean home, you know, on our own piece of property, our house. We have a vehicle.
Mr. Santora, you're repeating yourself.
Okay, sir, I'm just nervous, and I'm sorry. I'm nervous. I'm sorry. I mean, you know, I'm hoping I get the opportunity to go home and make it better, sir. Like I'm going to work. I'm so close to getting my ID, and like I just don't want it to get taken from me, you know, because I want to be a better person, sir. I'm trying to be a better man. It's hard when you go home to know nothing. You know, every time I have an address, but it's not a home.
Thank you, Mr. Santora. We've heard that at least 8 or 9 times.
Okay.
All right. Now ready to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Santora. You know, it's everybody's fault but yours. It's a birth certificate. It's you ain't got a home. You don't know where the meetings are. They didn't tell you what to do. If you want me to, I'll do AA meetings. If that's what you want me to do, that's what I'll do. You know, you got to take responsibility for yourself. And until you do that, you're going to continue to do what you're doing. You are a very serious drug addict. You're still in denial. You've gone through one of the best programs in the country, and you're still sitting here in denial.
No, sir, I'm not trying to deny it.
Mr. Santoro, I've heard you a zillion times over 14 years of drug court. Okay? My vote today, you are a danger to society in the state that you are in. I agree with your parole officer. My vote today is to revoke you. I'm going to recommend that the department, if possible, send you to the facility that your parole officer suggested. That's the reentry program in Lafayette, so you can get some tools, etc. So that would be my recommendation is parole, is revocation. I'm just one of three votes. Mr. Roche?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Santoro, my vote is to revoke your supervision due to you pleading guilty to all violations.
Thank you, Ms. Roche. Ms. Ryan?
My vote is the same for the same reasons.
Mr. Santoro, your parole has been revoked. I hope you can take advantage of the programs that are in the Department of Corrections. You need some VOTEC training, and you also need some more substance abuse. You need to understand what the problem is. You need to do that. Nobody else can help you. It's just you. Good luck to you.
Okay, I just couldn't help myself. Again, thank you, Annan, for calling out these hearings and also providing that banner. You sent it in an email, and it's this tall for parole. And nothing against, you know, if you're not tall, that's completely okay. But when you find yourself in this predicament, just something, I don't know. I can't help it with the music and all the violin. It's just I think it's pretty funny. Now I am though happy to tell you that he is out of prison. He's out of jail. Looked at his records since I'm not sure when he got released since this revocation, how much more time he ultimately ended up serving. You know, his first revocation hearing happened July 21st, 2022. And this hearing was October 2023. I don't know how much time he served, but he's not in jail as far as I can see in the records, or at least he's not in prison. I should make that statement. He's not in prison. But who here recognizes his parole officer? She's one of the few in Louisiana that actually show up to these revocation hearings. So few do. It's unlike Connecticut, where it's an entire process. Everybody gets an attorney automatically assigned to them, and they're quality attorneys, and then they have to go up against the parole officer and its entire legal procedure where the cards are actually stacked in their favor, not in the Department of Corrections' favor. Which process do you think is better? I understand there's both, but I think, frankly, that Louisiana is a little bit too strict and trigger happy on revoking people, while Connecticut's a little bit too loose. That's just my opinion. Right. And I almost forgot to mention, someone's going to have to answer this for me. But how is it that those in this predicament so quickly end up in a relationship? He has here his girlfriend of 6 months, a nurse. She has a job. She's in a good position. And yet she decides to date this guy. Someone, by his own account, has not spent a year in the public, not in prison, since he's been 18 years old. Someone who cannot even hold a job for a few moments, yet they always seem to find someone needs to explain this to me. It's just the most insane. And for all of those who say, I don't know, I can't, you know, he should be giving classes to themselves. That probably is where his calling should be, because I don't know how he does it. He must have the magic touch, but it's something that we see all the time. Anyways, if I can just ask all of you, the algorithm has completely changed with YouTube, and it's rewarding those who comment. So if you can, share your thoughts, it actually helps the channel a lot. It's been, we've been attacked by the algorithm, and it's frustrating because most of you are not seeing these parole hearings. As a matter of fact, Grandpa Do, for those of you who know, my 96-year-old grandfather, he said, Mandoo, I'm not getting, why are you not posting anymore? And I said, what do you mean, Grandpa Do? I post every day. He said, well, I don't see your hearings. I said, well, do you have the notification bell clicked on? And he said, what's that? He's 96 years old, but he's tech savvy. He uses YouTube on his smart TV. So got on the phone and showed him there's the little bell. I don't know if you've seen it, but YouTube tells me that just 2% of you get my notifications. 2%. That's crazy. So I post every single, Sunday through Thursday, like clockwork, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. from both my channels. And I oftentimes post on Friday and Saturday as well. So make sure you have that bell clicked to all so that you'll get all the hearings. And if you want to see more like this, revocations and return ofs, let me know in the comment section. And with that, I'll let you go.
18 years of my life, I haven't been on the streets but 1 year, and it's all because I go home to nowhere. I have an address, but I'm never going home to a place that I can actually call home. I'm never comfortable anywhere I go because it's drugs everywhere. I've been around that my whole life, but I'm actually in a good position right now. I have a good woman. I have a home with an address, a clean home, on our own piece of property, our house. We have a vehicle.